Check, check. Check. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Is that on? It's on? I'd like to apologize that it's 7:45, but we were dealing with school board business. So I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:45. Kira, would you read the land acknowledgement, please?
We pay respect to the Algonquin people, who are the traditional guardians of this land. We acknowledge their long-standing relationship with this territory, which remains unceded. We pay respect to all Indigenous people in this region from all nations across Canada, who call Ottawa home. We acknowledge the traditional knowledge keepers, both young and old, and we honor their courageous leaders, past, present, and future.
Thank you. Father, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Yeah. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, as we gather in this season of Advent, we pause to remember your promise and the hope that comes with the birth of your Son. When God chose to become one with humanity, so we could become one with God. May we follow the example of the one who bridged the distance between heaven and earth by being the bridge between those entrusted to our care and the love of God made manifest in Jesus Christ. Guide our thoughts and words today that all we do may reflect your love and bring peace to those we serve. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. We remember in our prayers the following persons who have passed away. Nicole Laverne, retired member of the Finance Department for many years. Hildegard Becker, mother of Michelle Becker, retired teacher, and mother-in-law of John Pederi, retired administrator, and grandmother of Quinn Pederi, office administrator at Holy Trinity High School, and Kathleen Young, teacher at St. Bernadette School. Eternal rest grant unto them, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon them. May they rest in peace. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
I'd like to recognize that our student trustee, Jaden, is joining us online. I'd like to ask everybody to please stand for our national anthem. have no Faith and Focus this week, no delegations. Can I have a mover for the approval of the agenda, please? Trustee Coburn, seconded by Trustee Lukatich-Byers. That the agenda for the regular board meeting of December 9th, 2025 be approved as presented. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item E1, memo from the Superintendent of Human Resources, health and safety presentation. Welcome, Superintendent Keeley and Ms. Mazzol. Welcome. Mazzarol, sorry.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Very pleased to be here this evening with our Coordinator of Health and Safety, Chantal Mazzarol, who will be sharing a short presentation with you with regards to all the great works that they do in that department and how they keep the OCSB students and staff safe and compliant for safety. Chantal?
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chair, trustees, and colleagues. On behalf of the Health and Safety Team and Human Resource Department, I'm pleased tonight to present on what we do, our work we do, also the team that is behind the scene doing all this wonderful work to keep our students and staff safe in all schools. I think it's this one. Go to the next slide. Nope. I think it's the forward button. Okay. First, I would like to present to you our health and safety team. We're 4 members, myself, 2 health and safety officer, which also provides training, and admin assistant. So we have a broad range of expertise within our team, from construction, industrial safety, healthcare, also science, and a few experience in the school system. So with this expertise, we can provide expert guidance on legislation, ensure that our school board is compliant, and also give support to administrators on emerging requirements and risk, in our classrooms, to mitigate the risk in our classroom. We're a team that collaborates really well together, meaning that you will get consistent support in the schools. Any member of our team can support the same portfolios. So if a member of the team is away, we know it's important to be consistent and always be there to support our administrators and educators, and they can get that support with any members of our team. So what do we do across OCSB? Well, first, at the system level, we maintain board level safety policies, which aligns with legislation, such as the Occupational Health and Safety Act, which oversee the compliance and also assist with any corrective actions in our schools. We conduct system level, so inspection and risk assessment, and also high level risk assessment in our classrooms. By bringing this, centralizing all of this work, we can maintain a high level of standards in our schools and make sure that that it's not guesstimated by individual schools. So we really centralize the safety system to give the same high level standards. We also guide administrators and educators through incident investigation and follow up with ministry level reporting if needed. And of course, one of the work that we do most is provide training to build this capacity in our school with administrators and staff. To give you this level of expertise, we rely on certifications, which what that means is we as a team are approved by the Chief Prevention Officer from the Minister of Labor, Immigration and Training and Skills Development to deliver Joint Health Safety Committee certification and also the Working at Heights training. We're also business partners with the Canadian Red Cross and St. John Ambulance to train staff in standard first aid and CPR. By bringing this in-house, the training, and not going with external partners, we can really give school-level examples and make it relatable for our staff so they can actually respond to emergencies in our schools, which is much better than an external partner that may not know our school level system. We also collaborate with a lot of external partners, such as the Ottawa Public Health, the Ministry of Labour, the Ministry of Education, and other external agencies like the OCSB or OPAS, just to update our policies and procedures and make it up to date to follow the regulatory requirements. One of the aspects we take care of is medical safety and emergency readiness in our schools. So under PPM 161, which is supporting students with medical condition, we maintain board-level medical safety policies and support document to help the schools address complex medical plan of cares that our students can bring. And in this case, we can provide targeted training on emergency response and ensure that our staff are ready on site for any eventualities that something would happen to a student. As you know, all of our schools are equipped with AEDs and also naloxone kits, and we manage this centrally and we maintain them centrally. We also train staff on using these equipment to make sure that they're ready in order if there is an emergency in their school. We also collaborate with administrators or other OCSB departments, transportation partners like OSTA, and external agencies like CHIO to make sure our staff are ready in these medical situations. So the parents can know that we give like the highest level standards in terms of readiness for our staff. We don't only address medical emergency, we also oversee safety in high-risk learning environments like the tech, science, and arts classroom and physical education. We maintain board-level safety guidelines and update them with legislative and best practice. We also conduct annual audits of these areas so we can share the findings and give practical solution to our staff and our administrators. We train staff on equipment use, PPE practices, and hazard recognition so they're ready to mitigate the risk in their classroom. And we support schools with complex or unusual safety questions, such as the new Elite Skills Trades Academy. We were brought in because there was a new masonry program that was brought never before seen in our schools. So we had to do a risk assessment and put protocols in place and controls that for our staff and student safety. And that really helps students be ready for the workplace when they go in the workplace to recognize safety and give them safety awareness. We also support concussion management in our schools. Again, we maintain and update concussion procedures to make sure that they follow the Rowan's Law and PPM 158, and also align with the latest medical research and OPAS. We provide schools with resource training, decision support. We support administrators navigating complex return to learn, return to play situation, and we ensure that consistent system application for the safe removal and recovery protocols of these students. We don't only address injuries, but we also want to prevent them from happening first. So this is our top priority. So what do we do in this case? We develop board-wide prevention strategies for common student injuries by looking at our stats. We ensure that the policies reflect the legislation and provide training and resources for safe supervision and yard management. We also oversee inspections of play equipment, make sure that corrective actions are done, and we follow up with the schools in this case, so to make sure that the play yards are ready and safe for our students. Of course, with a broad program as such, I'm only giving you a quick overview. We need to find tools to make these policies and guidelines and support document easy access to our staff. So we always try to leverage AI in the best way that we can. So we are using Notebook LM on our health and safety site to have a quick, easy access for staff to really look for the information that they want, so they don't have to consistently rely on us to get the information that they need. So we always look into ways of introducing AI even in our training to make it easier for staff. So moving forward, what will be our commitment? Well, the same as what we've been doing for many years. So basically continue to align our policies with legislation and ministry updates to make sure that they're clear and current. We will continue to give support at the system level, supporting our administrators and educators. We want to build capacity in our schools by training staff and administrators to really take on those tasks of like safety risk, like mitigating the safety risk. We always try to find ways of continuously improving our program. And of course, the strong partnerships with our schools, our departments, and also external agency is important to continue to do this important work. Thank you, and I'll take any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Trustee Ward.
Thanks, through you, Mr. Chair. Great presentation. Thanks for putting that together. It's nice to see that we put a lot of thought into safety in our board. Just a quick question about the schools. I know schools, because obviously there's 20 plus workers that are typically in most of our schools. They're probably considered workplaces. And as such, do we have like joint health and safety committees for each school individually? And how is that managed?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, we have a joint health safety committee at each of the schools. So we're site-based, what we call. We're not multi-site. A lot of school boards do work as multi-site, meaning there's one GHSC for all the schools. But no, every school has their own joint health safety committee, which is composed of management and all of the workers representing every single union in that school.
Jaden.
Hi, is my mic working or? Okay, through you, Mr. Chair. I just had a simple question. I was just wondering how often our teachers and staff are trained with these first aid procedures. Yeah, so.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we follow the guidelines, so it's every 3 years. They will get a refresher training and for recertification of standard first aid, which is under regulation 1101.
Thank you.
Trustee Coburn.
First a comment, then a question. The comment is on the AEDs. So some of us who served with a trustee, many terms ago, Kathy Ablett actually championed putting AEDs into schools and stuff. And so, yeah, it was nice to see that today. It reminded me of when Kathy was a nurse, I believe, and so championed that at the board, and it was nice to see that. The other thing is, and Spencer raised that there's a health and safety committee school. It seems that the staff numbers to manage this program are not very large. So it seems that there's only 4 folks to do all this across the board. I know our board has a pretty good record with regards to this, but maybe speak a little bit, maybe it's the superintendent or the director, speak a little bit to the staff complement to manage this for over 50,000 students and over 5,000 staff and over how many schools?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that's a very good question. We have an excellent staff, as you've seen. They are very well versed, but they are also very busy, and in some cases we do outsource some additional training support when is required, sometimes over the summer. They also work in collaboration with some other departments. Some of our SESS folks also help with some of the CPI training, especially on PD days, those kinds of things. That's not to say some of the support can come from HR, some of the administrative pieces. However, as we grow larger, the demand may be also larger. We'll have to see how we manage that. But because of the distributive nature of having a JCHC, I said that wrong. Thank you, JHSC at each site. There's also training for the administrators, so they do support that. There's also a committee at the board that supports Chantal and the work that the health and safety team do with regards to unique situations at each site to support that work as well. So it is a bigger than the four, but those are the four main ones, and they do guide everything that goes on, but they are fantastic. Thank you.
Trustee Simpson, then Trustee Ward.
It's sort of a follow-up question. I was wondering how you support principals, for instance, transitioning into new roles, going into new plans, and at the same time, new teachers having an awareness of some of the pitfalls that they can have when they enter a school that they may not be aware of. Sometimes you don't know what to ask because you just don't know.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So I do present at the PQP on safety for administrators. Also, every administrators received the Joint Health Safety Committee certification, which is a 5-day training on health and safety. And of course, I'm always like behind the phone or behind like the emails. For teachers, we do onboarding, health and safety awareness. So they do a full day of health and safety training actually when they start with our board, and we give them all of the information that they need to support in the classroom. If it's for high-risk area, we actually even offer even more training. We offer them 3 days of collaboration with another safety champion from another school. So they know how to work in tech shops, for instance, in construction and transportation, on how to manage a classroom of more than 20 students, and with all the safety aspects of the guidelines that we have.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd also add that there's also ongoing online health and safety training that Chantal and her team also curates and ensures is there. We do also work with our union partners for a half-day health and safety PD training for our whole, for all employees. So there's lots of different versions, some in person, some online, but continuous learning and refresher of the required policies.
Trustee Ward.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. It's nice to meet you, Chantal. I read a lot of your policies. Very nice. That's how I knew every school had joint health and safety. It was last year's policy. But it caught my attention is that the new protocols for concussion awareness. Now, it's 50,000 students, probably not that many are in those types of sports, but do you have any communications that you do with parents or parent groups to teach them some of the best practices?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So the new protocol is not out yet. It's still in draft, but we will do a lot of training for our administrators and staff, and we will give that task to principal, like to have a conversation with the parents of the new protocol. We're even thinking about putting simple guidelines for parents. So we also have all of that information on the student health and safety site of the board website. The concussion support document will be posted there, plus all the forms and everything, and a little bit of information of what their roles and duties are if their child sustained a concussion.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the new protocols. I had to live through the old ones. The first round, it wasn't pleasant.
Trustee Ward.
Thanks, through you, Mr. Chair. In future presentations for this, is it possible to show some of the trending aspects of like data showing how we're trending with the health and safety? Is there any milestones that we can celebrate? You know, are we trending in the right direction, or are we, you know, kind of falling off the scale? It'd just be nice to see, like, if we can see kind of how we're trending as a board.
Through you, Mr. Chair, thank you for that. We'll take it back and see what we can come back with.
Trustee Phelan.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just jumping on your question, Spencer, there with respect to just kind of data in general, but when it comes to shop classes, an example, or concussions with anything related to sports or activities wrapped around a gymnasium and stuff like that. It would be neat to see sort of a breakdown of that data to fully understand where are you spending most of your time when it comes down to a bad situation, and understand more of those protocols wrapped around that. But that's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Any other questions or comments? So I'm covered at my workplace under the industrial part of the Health and Safety Act, and I'm certified level 3 for many years, was chair of the safety committee for years. Would the shops, just going further on what Trustee Phelan was saying, do the shops fall more into an industrial setting than coverage because of materials that you're using and machinery that they're using rather than education?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, actually, the best standards, like that, we follow the industrial standards in our shops. Of course, it's a little bit unique because now you're talking about like unexperienced students plus a shop teacher that has the experience in industry. So most of our tech teachers do have that experience, but all of the piece of equipment, the protocols, the procedures follow that industrial standard to ensure safety in our schools.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Have a mover, please. The memorandum from the Superintendent of Human Resources dated December 3rd, 2025, entitled Health and Safety Presentation be received. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much for your presentation. Declarations of conflict of interest. Seeing none. Confirmation of the minutes of the regular board meeting November 25th, 2025. Can I have a mover, please? Trustee Coburn and Trustee McEwen. That the minutes of the regular board meeting of November 25th, 2025 be adopted as presented. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Unfinished business from previous meetings? Never. Presentation and consideration of committee reports and student trustee reports. Committee of the whole board of December 9th. Madam Vice Chair?
Nothing to bring forward.
Thank you. Memo from the Superintendent of Special Education and Student Services, re SEAC minutes of October 8, 2025. Superintendent Bennett.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. These are for receipt.
Thank you. Can I have a mover, please? Trustee Lukatich-Myers and Trustee Moore. That the memorandum from the Superintendent of Special Education and Student Services dated December 2nd, 2025, entitled SEAC minutes from October 8, 2025 be received. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item 3, memo from Trustee Brian Coburn, Chair of the Audit Committee. Excuse me.
Those minutes are for receipt, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mover, you moving them? Seconder? Trustee Phelan. That the memorandum from the Chair of the Audit Committee dated December 3rd, 2025, containing the approved regular session minutes of November 18th, 2025 Audit Committee meeting be received. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item J1, presentation and consideration of staff or trustee reports. Memo from the Superintendent of Leadership and Parent Engagement, re preparing and celebrating Advent. Welcome, Superintendent Bauer and Ms. Boivin. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. I'm pleased to be joined by Ashley Boivin, Coordinator of Religious Education, Family Life Education, and Leadership and Parent Engagement Department, who will share some highlights on preparing and celebrating Advent.
We'll get there. Thanks, Liam. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chair. To begin, I'd like to reflect on some insights shared by faith animator Jeff Guitar as we reflect at the start of Advent. Jeff reminds us that what we have experienced is many, many Advents. Advent is familiar. It's not new to us. Each year, we light the same candles, hear the same readings, and sing the same hymns. However, living through many Advents isn't about repeating them mechanically. Our experiences mature as we do. Each year, we bring new joys, wounds, and longings. What felt familiar can take on a new depth because we've changed. The rhythm of the liturgical seasons is more than a simple circle. It's an ever-expanding spiral. We return to the same mysteries repeatedly, each time with deeper understanding and greater openness to grace. Advent becomes new not because the season changed, but because we do. Today, I'm happy to share the many ways our faith is being lived out this Advent season, nurturing relationships, fostering community, and becoming living bridges that connect and unite us in God's love. As expected, we updated the landing page of our internal religious education website for Advent, offering many resources to support teachers and students throughout the season. You can see we included a reminder for our grades 1 to 8 teachers that Advent also means the start of Unit 2 from our Growing in Faith, Growing in Christ program. Here you can see a sampling of resources that have been prayerfully curated by religious ed consultants Maria Costantini and Caroline Pignat. As you've seen highlighted as part of the Faith in Focus presentations each month at your meetings, all of our months this school year are sub-themed for building bridges. This month we reflect on how our faith guides our words, actions, and care for others. On our website, educators will find crafts, lessons, videos, and activities to bring faith to the forefront of our classroom as we prepare for Christ's birth. Weekly Advent reflections, like what I shared at the start from Jeff Guitar, are for our staff, grounding us in intentional work during the sacred season. These reflections invite us to pause and consider spiritual dimensions of our daily tasks, helping us approach our roles with renewed purpose and presence. They serve as touchstones that align our personal and professional lives with the spirit of Advent, fostering deeper connection to our faith and community. These reflections are shared through our monthly newsletter, which also include professional development opportunities, updates from the Archdiocese, liturgy templates, and resources connected to our spiritual theme. Together, these elements ensure that staff are supported, both spiritually and professionally, as we work to embody and teach the values of our faith. We were also able to build bridges of faith as we celebrated the start of our new liturgical year. Last week, we gathered faith mentors, curriculum leaders, department heads, and chaplaincy leaders under one roof at St. Augustine Parish for a faith-filled PD. From morning mass and planning sessions to laughter and shared meals, the Spirit was at work in our hearts. Leaders from different schools connected to share insights with a shared passion for Catholic education as we discerned what it means to build bridges. Representatives from the central team and the Archdiocese affirmed our shared purpose to strengthen parish, school, and home partnerships. This day was truly bridge building at its finest. And of course, some examples from within our schools. Advent is indeed an exciting time. Students are actively engaged in co-constructing their prayer tables in their classrooms with vibrant centers of reflection. They proudly display their Advent in a bag, like you see on the right, which is a project where they offer personal insights to understand the true meaning of Advent. As each item is thoughtfully added and discussed, the symbolism serves as a tangible reminder of God's love for us, enriching our classrooms and fostering a sense of community. Here you can see on the left kinders at St. Veronica who are participating in a Christmas card exchange with over 20 schools spreading Christmas joy. There's white elephant sales in the middle that have begun allowing students to upcycle Christmas gifts for loved ones through donations. Entryways and hallways are beautifully decorated, bringing the season to life. And all of our schools have launched their Advent campaigns, projects of giving, including Christmas hampers to support those in need, reflecting the true spirit of generosity and compassion during this season. Lastly, on this slide, I thought it was pretty cool to highlight how centrally even, an example in the middle there is our Student Success Department, who started their December staff meeting unpacking what it means to build bridges of faith and brainstorming ways that they can support family, friends, and colleagues who may be seeking comfort and compassion this month. Other departments here at the CEC are echoing the ripples of in-school Advent campaigns, supporting community partners in need. It's beautiful to see how our faith permeates all that we do, guiding decisions that support students and families. The communications team will also continue to amplify these efforts throughout Advent. It's a bit tricky when the slide deck is due just a couple days into Advent, but of course they're going to continue to amplify that through social media. So I encourage you to keep an eye out on that. But truly it's inspiring to see how all of these resources, liturgies, prayers, PD, community partnerships, it completely illuminates what Advent truly is. We're journeying with hope, peace, joy, and love. So thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to share, and I welcome any questions or feedback. And of course, Merry Christmas, because I probably won't see you before the break.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Questions or comments? Trustee Simpson.
It's not really a question. I'm just always astounded with the variety of resources that you provide schools, and it's a joyous time. It's wonderful to celebrate Advent, and to always be refreshing the resources that are available is a huge gift to schools that are celebrating. So thank you very much to your department.
Any other questions? No. Your presentation was crystal clear. Thank you very much. Can I have a mover, please? Trustee Simpson. And Trustee Moore. That the memorandum of the Superintendent of Leadership and Parent Engagement dated December 2nd, 2025, entitled Preparing and Celebrating Advent, be received. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item 2, memo from the Superintendent of Leadership and Parent Engagement, re-equity updates. Welcome, Dr. Harrell and David Kajoba. Welcome.
Are you ready? Okay. Good evening, Mr. Chair. The equity team in the Leadership and Parent Engagement Department has been actively engaged in several critical equity initiatives to foster a more inclusive, welcoming, and equitable environment within our school communities. We are pleased to provide an update on this initiative and detail the recent progress we have achieved together as a board. The OCSB Equity Advisor, David Kajoba, you have it now, that's good. The OCSB Equity Advisor, David Kajoba, will be providing this update to the Board of Trustees. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to say thank you for the opportunity to provide this update to the Board of Trustees. Before I get into the EDI updates, I would like to just remind us that our board-wide work is guided by our 2024 and 2027 EDI framework. And this year two of that framework, we are focusing on sustaining practice and culture. And we continue to strive to provide equitable learning environments for our students while incorporating principles of deep learning in everything that we do. So this year, a few things that we've been working on so far. We have continued to support the creation and sustaining collaboration with existing employee resource groups. This year, we inaugurated our 4th employee resource group, which is the Disability Employee Network at Christian Community Day, and that joins the network of Asian employees as well as the Black Employee Network and the queer employee networks that have already been inaugurated within our school board. And for the Black Employee Network being the very first employee network that we had at the OCSB, This year in September, they had their inaugural Black Employee Network Conference, and that is part of the ongoing commitment from the board to support and collaborate with these employee resource groups beyond simply allowing them to exist. So this was the conference that we had right here in our boardroom. We had over 120 participants that came here. It was a colorful day, as you can see in some of those wonderful pictures. In the area of building capacity and professional development, this year we have started the system of school equity representatives in order to increase our capacity in terms of getting the work done at the school level. And as of now, we have an equity representative in 82 of our schools. And in November, we partnered with the Special Education and Student Services Department to provide professional development and learning and training for those new representatives in order to equip them with the resources and the supports that they need to execute their work. Again, in that area, we had a ministry-mandated PD Day, actually this last Friday, where the emphasis from the ministry was on anti-racism. And in preparation for that, we provided professional learning to our principals and vice principals in order to prepare them to roll out that system to the various schools. So all our schools received that training. And I'm pleased to report that the preliminary data that we are getting is that we have seen a significant improvement in terms of the reporting in the comfort levels that our staff are saying now they have in terms of addressing, identifying issues to do with racism within their schools. And again, on that partnership level, in order to make sure that we have all voices represented, we partnered with CISPA to get parent voice and parent input, and we use that input to guide our process of designing the resources that then we sent out to the system to make sure that we are indeed catering to the needs within our parent community in that regard. And in the area of our student affinity groups, we have continued to work with our student affinity groups. In October, we had our Black Students Forum, which was very successful, being the 6th consecutive year it happened. It demonstrated the outstanding peer-to-peer effort. These student forums are student-led by students and for students. The adults are only there to facilitate the visions of the students. As well, we had the 4th year of our Student Heart Forum, which we've conducted again this year. The kids were very happy. They were excited to be there, and we're in the process of preparing our inaugural Asian Student Forum that we hope will have in spring of next year, which is 2026, during the Asian Heritage Month. And that's some of the pictures on the top segment of it. That is from the Black Student Forum, some of our students, some of the student workshops, and of course we're blessed by performances from groups like the Kamengo Culture Troupe. Then on the segment below, we see some of our students during our Student Heart Forum. In the terms of partnerships, we continue to partner with community in order to bring more voices and more representation within our schools. We have partnerships with the Jewish Federation of Ottawa to support Holocaust and Jewish history education in our schools. As well, we have a partnership with the PJ Library, and this partnership allows them to share resources with educators and library technicians within our schools. And this year, 23 schools have signed up to receive resources from the PJ Library. As well, we have a partnership with the Korean Embassy and the Korean Culture Center, where some of our students go to visit the Culture Center. As well, Culture Center staff come into our schools. 7 elementary schools have been visited from the Korean Culture Center, and 2 high schools have visited the Korean Culture Center this year. And those are some of the pictures of our students clad in attires during one of those visits. And with that, I thank you and welcome any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Trustee Ward.
Thank you, through Mr. Chair. So we have equity representatives in 82 schools. Of the schools who are not represented, is it mostly elementary? Is it geographical, one area over another area? Or is there any indicator for why those schools don't participate?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So of the 82 schools, 65 are elementary and 17 are intermediate and secondary. So yes, we still have some work to do in the elementary schools. Now, this was the first call out in terms of getting these representatives coming. So this turnout was rather handsome in that regard. We are still working with the principals of the schools. There's a few issues, a few concerns that came through. Sometimes it could have been a communication piece in terms of who gets to be an equity representative in that regard. And we're working with those schools that do not yet have a representative to see to it that they get a representative and can be represented in the training that we hope to do in the new year. Yep.
Hi, Kira.
Through you, Mr. Chair, thank you for your great presentation. It's awesome to see all the initiatives in place to celebrate diversity in the OCSB. I'm just curious, what opportunities are there for allies to get involved? How is allyship being promoted through these initiatives?
Through you, Mr. Chair, again, thank you for a very important question. At the center of all the work that we do in these affinity spaces, whether that be students or employees, allies are a very important part of that segment. For example, in the recent the Black Educators Conference, it was a conference of Black employees together with allies, and in that conversation space, we all came together to celebrate belonging and building those bridges. For the students, allies are always welcome and a part of these affinity groups. Now, particularly the student forums usually tend to be attended by the leaders who then design the work plans in terms of what the different schools go to attend. But at the very micro level in every schools, our affinity groups, in fact, it is within our guidelines that allies are welcome in those spaces. So.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you very much for your presentation. Can I have a mover for the presentation, please? Trustee McEwen and Trustee Phelan.
And I'll make sure not to go with this. Thank you.
That the memorandum from the Superintendent of Leadership and Parent Engagement dated December 3rd, 2025, entitled Equity Updates be received. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you, gentlemen. Item 3, memo to the Superintendent of Planning Facilities, Annual Energy Management Report 2024-2025. Welcome, Superintendent Bella.
It's counting down, sorry. 0, whatever. Okay. Yeah, I'm the last one on the last one on the docket. Through you, Mr. Chair, thank you, and I really appreciate the opportunity. Good evening, Chair and trustees and colleagues. I'm pleased to present the annual energy management report for the 24-25 school year. This report highlights our continued commitment to environmental stewardship through our energy management plan. I'd also like to take this opportunity to also acknowledge the work from our manager of maintenance and operation and our coordinator of community use and basically energy to basically work on the work that we've done as a team to develop our energy management plan. Their leadership is certainly essential in the work that we do. And our strategy relies on a combination of behavioral challenges within our schools, operational best practices, and significant investments in facility renewal. I'm proud to report that these efforts continue to yield impressive long-term results. When we compare our current performance to our baseline year of 2003 and 2004, the Ottawa Catholic School Board now consumes 30% less electricity and 27% less gas annually. This conservation is not just an environmental success, it is a financial one as well. Through our conservation program, we have avoided $3.6 million in utility costs this past year alone. For the past 22 years, we've avoided a cumulative total of just over $60 million in electricity and natural gas costs. It is important to note that we achieve these cost avoidances. It's important that we note that we achieve this cost avoidance despite a 200% increase in electricity prices and a 15% increase in our total floor space due to new schools and portable acquisitions over that same 22-year period. I'd also like a moment to review the specific performance factors for the 24-25 school year. Weather plays a significant role in our energy profile. This past year, we experienced a colder heating season with 10% more heating degree days compared to 5-year average. Historically, this would lead to a spike in gas usage. However, because of our investments in higher efficiency equipment, our natural gas consumption remained flat compared to the previous year. Unfortunately, due to a slight increase in commodity costs, our gas spending did rise by $200,000 last year. On the electricity side, we saw a moderate summer with stable cooling demand. However, our total electricity consumption increased by 5%. This was driven by the addition of 20 new portables and our continued efforts to increase air-conditioned square footage in existing schools. Financially, the electricity market presented challenges this past year. We experienced a significant increase in market pricing, which, combined with consumption increase, resulted in an electricity cost increase of $1 million over the previous year. In total, the utility bill for the board in 2024 to 25 was $11 million. This comprised of $7.7 million in electricity, $1.17 million in natural gas, and $1.6 million in water and sewer charges. And there's a little bit of a mistake in the chart that you have on your report, just a little bit. But you can see that our natural gas costs are almost as much as our water. Water is becoming more valuable than actual energy. It is vital to understand the driving factors, or what the factors that are driving our consumption upward. We are balancing conservation goals with the needs to provide comfortable, healthy learning environments. 3 main factors are placing demands on our energy budget. First is air conditioning and ventilation. We have implemented a strategy to improve implement a strategy to upgrade gymnasiums and learning commons with air conditioning to serve cooling centers. Furthermore, all portable classrooms in the board are now equipped with mechanical ventilation and air conditioning. While this significantly improves student comfort, it inherently increases electricity demands. Our second factor on increased demands is the extended use of our facilities. Our schools are hubs for community use between before and after school programs and general community use. Our HVAC systems are operating in extended periods of the day. And third factor, of course, is the building code and requirements for upgrades. As we renovate schools or building additions, we must meet current Ontario building code requirements. Modern codes require increased fresh air intake. Bringing in more outdoor means our system work harder and longer to heat or cool air and to bring them to the room temperature. Despite these pressures, our environmental impact remains positive. The reduction in greenhouse gas emissions over the past 22 years is equivalent to eliminating carbon footprint of nearly 17,000 cars. I don't know if you can imagine what 17,000 cars can be, but that's quite a few. In terms of provincial standing, the Ministry of Education recognizes the Sustainable Schools Program, which ranks all 72 school boards in the province. I'm pleased to share that for the most recent reporting period, the OCSB was ranked number 7 in the province. Well, OCDSB is our actual legal name, so I'll go with that. So So yeah, so we were ranked number 7 in province this past year for energy potential savings, and we have historically ranked in the top 5 since 2016, and we still continue to be a provincial leader. Regarding our regulatory obligations under the Green Energy Act, we are currently exceeding the targets set out in our 5-year conservation and demand management plan. Our targets are 19.3% over 5 years, and our so as far as our cumulative energy intensity reduction stands at 8.5% so far in our 5-year plan, going into year 2, reflecting a tangible benefit to our capital from the capital investments we've made in our schools. Looking ahead, we continue to innovate. We are generating revenue from green energy. Our solar installation at St. Mother Teresa, St. Patrick's, St. Gabriel, and St. Dominic generated $146,000 in revenue this past year. Furthermore, our 4 new elementary schools who have 200 kilowatt net metering solar systems that came online this past year are also offsetting our operating costs. And we've had times in last summer where we've had our actual meter in the middle of summer, the meter wasn't even turning. We were just generating everything sole source. So we are net zero on our new elementary schools on some days when we're able to generate enough electricity. We also continue to support the transition to electric vehicles with 70 charging connections now operational on over 20 sites. For the upcoming 25-26 year, our targets reflect our growth. We anticipate an increase of roughly 1 million kilowatt hours in electricity consumption. This accounts for an additional, for the addition of 38 new air-conditioned portables and an additional air-conditioned square footage in schools. We're targeting flat natural gas consumption, and we continue to balance growth with high-efficiency upgrades. In conclusion, the success of our energy management plan belongs to the collective effort of our staff, our students, and the 42 certified eco-schools that foster a culture of conservation. We are navigating a complex landscape of rising market costs and increased ventilation requirements, but our commitment to being community of innovation and stewardship remains steadfast. Our faith communities help encourage this cultural shift that supports a planet-friendly behavior to ensure a sustainable future. Our energy management plan and related initiatives make a substantial contribution to be community and be an innovative. We are proud to be a provincial leader in the energy management and conservation. This completes my report, and I'd be pleased to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Questions or comments? Trustee Lukatich-Byers, then Trustee Warren, then Trustee Warren.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the presentation and some very impressive achievements. I'm just curious about the EV charging stations. I think we discussed them, it might have been last year. So just kind of curious, so there's 70 currently operating. So what's our kind of plan going forward? And then just kind of a general, maybe, I believe they were revenue neutral before. I don't know if they're generating some income for us. Just if you could elaborate a little bit. Thank you.
To you, Mr. Chair. So there's 20 sites currently that I believe every high school has one, plus one at every one of our new elementary schools. We've been building them in. The units themselves have been subsidized through a program at first to buy the charging station. So we're basically paying for the wiring in the base, and the actual unit had been paid for through incentives. At this point, they're more of a service that's available, but they're not generating any more than just a cost recovery. So we're probably about neutral on that. Some of the sites are challenged because of parking in some of our newer schools, so you can't get to them during the day, so that reduces the amount of use that they're seeing. However, they are available to anyone with a Flow card at this point, so they have access to be able to charge them. So anybody who has a charging or electric vehicle has access to them. So they are there. As far as expanding further, we're probably going to wait and see at this point, see what kind of initiatives or incentives come out for further investments, because it could be substantially costly to install infrastructure. It's not just the base, of course. You got to bring wire, and you might sometimes have to put a large enough breaker to put the power out there. So at this point, we're wait and see, but all of our new sites, we incorporate them within the designs, so there's a space assigned to them. Whether or not the charging station is installed, that'll be based on whether or not we see demand, but we are making those provisions moving forward.
Trustee Ward.
Thanks, through you, Mr. Chair. Mayor, great presentation. It's nice to see that, we're kind of carving away through the, our environmental footprint, so we're trying to, do our part. You have my interest with the solar revenue. You have it at 172,000. I guess it's kind of a two-part question is, what's our ROI on that in the payback period? And are we pursuing more? And is that revenue net or gross revenue?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So the ones that are generating direct funds are usually, they are all set through a FIT program, the feed-in tariff. They've been around their 20-year plan, I believe. Most solar arrays are somewhere between 10 and 20-year return on investment, depending on the rates that the sort of feed-in tariffs were set up for us. So these are the existing schools that prior to my coming to the board were set in place. They're not as large as the new elementary schools. Those are our net metering systems in that they don't have a guarantee rate. They're basically time of use. So they offset, like let's say your peak period of time, you're generating electricity that you're using internally. So those are, probably a longer payback period at the current electrical rates, but as we see the hydro rates increasing, we expect probably a 10 to 15-year return on investment on those. But the one thing around the benefits of installing like a net metering system, it's not necessarily the revenues that you get on it, but it helps us on our operating side. So like for instance, the elementary schools where we're generating a net zero, we're not actually spending an operating dollar on the annual allocation. We're using our capital dollars to pay for basically offset all of that. So it kind of one side washes the other, but it gives us more to spend in our operations at the end of the year by investing in these capital solar arrays.
Thanks, that makes a lot of sense. So do you find, like with the obviously we're not showing any maintenance costs and stuff. I don't know if they're high maintenance to keep them going, but is it something that you think is worth the investment to pursue further for all of our schools, especially with the new construction builds that we're doing for schools? Are we factoring in the design build around, potentially, leveraging stuff like the solar panels and other means?
Through you, Mr. Chair, it is something that our design teams are instructed to do. So, for instance, not all schools can receive solar arrays because of the fact that the nature of the roof structure might not be able to carry the panels. All our new designs are designed for the future solar array system, so the electrical infrastructure is set up in such a way that they can tie into the main service to be able to feed back into it. And again, the rooftop is set in such a way that if we decide to put it on either during the new construction or a later time, we're making also provisions for roof membranes to be robust enough that we could install them later. So basically the teams have been instructed to design, like our design teams, to have provisions for solar, and we move forward that if the capital allocation permits, we incorporate them into the design or into the construction right up front. We've been fortunate enough that the last 4 schools we've been able to do that, and the next ones moving forward, we have provisions for them and an allowance. If we have enough room in there, we will be installing them as well.
Trustee Moore.
Thank you. You mentioned the rising electricity costs, and you said EDP and community use of schools. Are those, both of those programs, are they cost recovery? Are we getting back enough in fees?
Through Mr. Chair, we do not see any dollars that might be generated through, let's say additional community use and EDP for the offset of our operations. The province basically looks at how we've been using our schools over the years. And so I think that their expectations is that we would be able to operate these schools till 11 o'clock at night, despite whether or not there's extra in there. However, we know that there are some incremental costs. And generally speaking, I think we're okay. You know, it is a service that we want to provide to our schools, and I don't think it'd be worth to sort of nitpick on a few dollars here and there. I think overall we've been able to make it work. I think the challenge is, of course, as the energy goes up and cost and longer run times, there are some costs associated. You know, it doesn't take long between a few dollars across nearly 90 sites. You know, it does add up.
So another question I had is, with the new builds that you've been able to, you're experimenting with solar, are you looking at landscape as a way to help mitigate some of these costs? So we know that trees close to a building can help keep the cost of air conditioning down as well as heat.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we do look at a variety of elements in our new designs. For instance, a lot of our windows are better thermal values. Roof selections for membranes are light colored so that they're more reflective. And certainly there is a desire to look at the heat island that's associated with pavement and on hard surfaces. So certainly that is something that we do make sure that we try to maximize the amount of green space. And I'm certainly a very strong proponent on providing as many trees as we can get onto the site. So that certainly with time will provide shade in the yards for the kids, and of course certainly will help just in the local area for keeping the temperatures down.
Trustee Gilbert?
Yeah, first one's just a comment. So I don't like to see costs go up necessarily, and I know we don't have control over them, but it's nice to see that we're getting more and more of our schools or our square footage cooled, because I think we're seeing, obviously, with global warming, you know, more trends this way. The other thing too, Miro, is I'd missed it the first time. I saw that we're number 7 in the province now. That's a good number, but we've been higher than that previously. And I know there's a myriad of things, you've listed them, that contribute to that. Is there anything strategically that we can be doing as a school board that might start to move us up to numbers we've been familiar with in the past?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, you know, it's a good point. You did notice that. One of the things is that this report is from 2 years. The state has vetted or audited numbers from 2 years past. So that's coming out of COVID. And so different boards had different performance metrics. So I'm a little suspect about that. I'm glad that we're there. I think we're number 1 or 2 as far as large boards. The ones that are in the top, it doesn't take long for them to be able to creep up on some of the small northern or some of the rural boards have risen up because, you know, they're trying to perform as best as they can. So I think the numbers that they've got right now probably are a bit suspect. I think we are still, like, as far as size of board, we are outperforming almost all of them in the province.
Just, it would be useful to have that metric when you present that as well, sort of where we fit within there. We saw some metrics around other numbers this evening with regards to the size of boards.
Trustee Field.
To you, Mr. Chair. Maybe just a quick question on innovation in general, but looking forward for innovative ways to capture, you know, recover costs. But you were talking about water earlier. I don't know if there's water recovery methods for certain functionality within a school that we can look at, which you probably have. You're a pretty smart guy and you're always looking forward, but just thought I'd ask the question.
Through you, Mr. Chair, and it's a great question, great observation. Where we consider the same thing. I think the no matter what we do, there's in order to protect water quality, we're into a flushing program, and that's really what's killing us as far as volumes of use. We know we have put low volume toilets and urinals and, you know, motion sensors and all of that. So we are progressively doing that in our schools, metered hand faucets and things like that. All of our new schools are very good with water consumption, but as good as it is, we still have to flush the school every morning, you know, 5, 10, 15 minutes depending on what the requirements are. it's an enormous amount of water that we use every day just to basically maintain drinking water quality. So that's, I think, unless, I don't see that changing anytime soon. And so unfortunately, we're going to see continued pressures on costs on that side of things.
Is there any other questions or comments? Thank you very much, Superintendent Val, for your presentation. Can I get a mover, please? Trustee Phelan and Trustee Lukatich-Byers. That the memorandum of the Superintendent of Planning Facilities dated December 5th, 2025, entitled Annual Energy Management Report 2024-2025 be received. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. No new business, no notice of motions. Confirmation of the action report. Can I have a mover, please? Trustee Coburn and Trustee Simpson. The action report on November 25th, 2025 be received. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Administrative announcements, Madam Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have 3 quick announcements this evening. First, as I'm sure the Board of Trustees is aware, EQAO results were announced last week. Unfortunately, it was Wednesday, which is when our memos for the board are due. So our results are very good, and we'll be pleased to share those in the new year with the Board of Trustees. Second, I think you also have heard the good news, but in case anyone missed it, we received $74 million from the government to open a new school, a high school in Marebleu in Orleans. So Miro and his team will be very busy with that. There's just a question, Mr. Chair. Oh, I believe, Trustee Coburn, that the land may be on Brian Coburg Street.
Boulevard.
Never heard of it.
And third, we just have some birthdays upcoming birthdays to recognize. So from the superintendent team on December 29th, Jeff Edwards will celebrate a birthday, and the following day on December 30th, Associate Director Ben Belatti will celebrate a birthday. So we wish them a happy birthday a little bit early. And very soon, on December 14th, I believe Trustee Sandra Moore has a birthday. And then over the holidays, she's going to be 16, I heard. Not 60. Oh, not 60. Our board chaplain, Father Gerard Monahan, has his birthday on December 24th, which I'm sure is not a busy time of year for him. So, so happy birthday to our December birthdays. And just on behalf of myself and our executive team, I want to wish the Board of Trustees, obviously, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we look forward to seeing you in our January board meeting. And a special thanks tonight for our lone Tracy in our attendance. We appreciate that, Tracy. and to our support, Liam and Stephanie. So thank you very much.
Yeah, just to add to that, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I wish everybody and all our viewers online a very Merry Christmas to you and your families. Take some time off and relax, and don't get colds.
Yeah.
You've had that for like 3 weeks.
I'm over to no, I've got a cough for 5 years. I'm over to adjourn, please. Trustee Simpson. Trustee Warren. That the regular board meeting of December 9th, 2025 be adjourned at 8:56. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Enjoy your holidays.